Queenstown, New Zealand's adventure capital, where the towering remarkables meet the dazzling Lake Wakatipu. It's a place known for heart-racing thrills and breathtaking views. But what about the food? We had been warned by friends and family that New Zealand is a sleepy country where restaurants can shut by 5 pm, and there are very few vegan or vegetarian options. So, can a vegan not just survive, but thrive in this land of pies and Fergburgers? We set out to find the best plant based eats in Queenstown. So, how was the vegan food here?
Let's find out.
After a long transit, we landed in Queenstown. It was 9 pm and the sun still hadn't set. For dinner, we ordered this vegan pizza from Pizza Hut. We used the Uber Eats app and it was very smooth. The pizza was definitely not authentic pizza, but it was good. Lots of toppings and the vegan cheese was quite nice. We were quite worried about sorting out a meal at 10 pm, but the food delivery app made sure it was quite smooth. We also got this vegan Magnum ice cream from the gas station near the Airbnb. Next day, we had a lovely breakfast at the Airbnb, all made with groceries from the FreshChoice nearby. More on the amazing grocery market scene later on. For lunch, we were craving some Asian food, so we were off to Saigon Kingdom, which was recommended by vegan explorers.
They have a few dishes which they can make vegan. We had a fried rice noodle and it was really tasty. It had a lot of grilled tofu, right amount of salt and spice and lots of veggies, and it was served piping hot and we really enjoyed it.
We were joined on this trip by my mom and Radharani, her best friend from school. They had a lunch at public restaurant on the pier and we joined them for coffee, which was very nice. And coffee in New Zealand is always reasonably priced, even at the fancier spots like this one. It's usually about $5 a cup. We then took a public bus to Arrowtown, and it just cost around $16 round trip for all four of us. Arrowtown is known for this cute street with vintage shop fronts. We really enjoyed the walk by this stream behind the main parking lot. And then it was time to go home. For dinner, we made some ramen at home. We used these vegan noodles that we got at the gas station. Next day, we were off to the majestic Pio Tahi, which was later called Milford Sound. And it isn't actually a sound either, but a fjord, as it was cut through by glacial rivers. It is an immense and epic place, and we got to see it on a cloudy, moody day. It was windy and cold, and it just made it feel even more epic. But for an Indian mom, even gale force winds aren't a good excuse for your hair not being in place. We booked the cruise through Real NZ, and it included the coach transit to and from Milford Sound. Our driver Chow was awesome, funny and knowledgeable and super friendly with everyone on board. In terms of the food, we didn't see a lot of vegan options, so we had packed a tofu scramble and some bread and cheese as well. As usual, there are a range of plant milk options for your coffee. For dinner, we needed some rice, so we were off to My Thai Lounge for an epic Thai meal. It's set on the first floor of a building close to the marina, so the setting and view is really nice. These vegan skewers were great. The pineapple and jackfruit one was special. The ripe fruit had been caramelized and charred, and it was just incredible. I loved it. This fried cauliflower made all the Bengalis very happy. It's a favorite in Bengali homes, but it's one of the first time we've ever seen a dish like this at a restaurant. The gyozza style dumplings was super tasty, and so was the dipping sauce. The fried rice was excellent, and the green curry was really good too. This place is a bit expensive for sure, but it has a great vibe with a great view and super tasty food. There were plenty of clearly marked vegan options, and like everywhere else, the staff was very knowledgeable and cleared up any doubts. We loved this meal. Next day, we had breakfast at home. We love Airbnbs with kitchens because it lets us have a slow, relaxed, and nutritious start to the day.
So for lunch today, we have come to Balls and Bangles and we had a burger. So it's basically a burger but using bagels. And they have one vegan burger option and it uses the Impossible patty, but the bread in the vegan burger is by default is not vegan, so you have to pick another bread, and we chose the rosemary and sea salt one, but the staff is nice to talk to and they know what vegan means. The burger was really good. It had good amount of vegan cheese, good sauces. The patty, Impossible patty, was nice, and it came with a fried dill pickle, which was a bit unique, and we really enjoyed this meal. So this is from Cookietime, which is a very famous cookie outlet here. So they had one vegan shake option. It's nice, but it's not what I expected it to be. Like, it's more like a smoothie. They have bananas and dates in here. What I thought was that this would be a really indulgent, unhealthy drink, but it's not that. But it's tasty, and it comes with half a double chocolate chip vegan cookie on it, which I'll try. The cookie is really good. Really, really good.
Instead of taking a fancy cruise on the lake, we decided to take a cheaper water taxi to the Hilton. It cost about $20 per head for the return trip, and this travel hack worked out quite well. We sat at the Hilton cafe for a while and enjoyed the view and some tea. Again, the tea was very reasonably priced. Next day, Vidhi had booked a skydive with Enzone, so we decided to have a light brunch at home. Delicious as usual, and then we were off. It was a glorious day, but unfortunately the dive was cancelled because of windy conditions. So if you're keen on skydiving, it's good to keep a couple of buffer days for inclement weather. And since we had some time to kill, we embarked on a hike of this hill. The hike actually starts very close to the city center and is clearly marked. And it was one of the best hikes I've ever done. It's very steep, but it's not technically challenging, so it's quite accessible. Vidhi and I are both not very fit, so if we could do it, then so can you. And if you do, the views from the summit are just glorious. Lake Wakatipu is such a magical place, and the sparkling waters against the backdrop of the Remarkables, these sexy mountains that frame the city, just wow. We met a bunch of friendly locals on our way up as well. This is something that's not on the tourist map, but it might have been my favorite activity in the South Island. We celebrated by having a double chocolate cookie from Cookietime once we reached the summit. It tasted so damn good. So much better than the pre-packed Cookietime cookies you get at the grocery stores. After the hike, we were super hungry. It was our last meal, so we had to go to Fergburger, the most hyped up restaurant in town. As usual, there was a line, but it moves fast. The falafel burger was good, but not great. It was quite dry and the bread was tough and disappointing. The tofu one was much better, and if you had to get one, we'd recommend that one. The tempura tofu was delicious, and it came with plenty of veggies and sauce. The fries were really excellent too. And if you're hungry, this place will fill you up. The burgers are huge and loaded. And that's that for Queenstown. Honestly, it was much better than our expectations. Before getting here, we were warned by friends and relatives that New Zealand is not a good place for vegans or vegetarians. But our own experience was very positive, and I think these are the reasons why. Almost every spot we went to had clearly marked vegan options. You should be able to find a couple of options wherever you go. Even this little cafe at Arrowtown Thermal Park had a vegan salad sandwich and this vegan Snickers bar. There is a great awareness of dietary restrictions. Menus are clearly marked, and if they aren't, many places have a reference binder for the staff to check the exact ingredients of a particular dish. Sometimes, if nothing's vegan, they'll customize something for you. Like this delicious hummus sandwich at the rest stop on our bus trip to Tekapo. Everyone is so friendly, and they take that extra moment to help you out, even on a busy day. The local produce is of a very good quality. I was blown away by the tomatoes here. They were so tasty that you could easily have them as fruits. These New Zealand avocados made the creamiest, most decadent guac that I have ever had. The cherries and peaches were great, and so were the salad leaves and veggies. This means that even simple sandwiches, salads, and stir fries pack a real punch and became a source of excitement for us. New Zealand is supposed to be a sleepy country of old farmers, but this was not our experience. It has some vibrant cities with a great vibe in the evenings. In Queenstown, we got pizzas delivered at 10 pm. In Christchurch and Wellington, you could easily find places open till 10 pm or even midnight. Even the restaurants in the tiny Tekapo stayed open till quite late. The food in New Zealand is consistently well salted. On our travels, especially at vegan restaurants, this can be a bit of a problem, where we find the food to be very undersalted. The international influence on the food here is very clear. Even in Lake Tekapo, a town of 500 residents, there was an Indian restaurant, a couple of Chinese restaurants, and even a Thai one. This means that you have more options for tasty, spicy, well-balanced meals wherever you go. The cheap and delicious way to feed yourself is one of these many vegan pies you can find in New Zealand. They cost about $5 to $8 and they are consistently delicious. In New Zealand, a main for one is usually between $15 to $30. So pie costs just a fraction of that and they are tasty and filling. And all of these points were applicable to Christchurch too. After Queenstown, we were off to Lake Tekapo. If you don't plan on going here, this is a good time for you to switch off. We took the intercity bus and it was on time and very comfortable. For lunch at Tekapo, we got off the bus and walked a few meters to the Greedy Cow, this small town's favorite cafe. They have a few vegan options, so we got the big breakfast plate and a vegan wrap. The plate was really good. The beans were homemade, the fried tofu was on point, the bread, the greens, the hash brown. It was all hot and fresh and it was really nice after a long bus ride. The wrap had a chickpea filling, but it was a bit dry and just okay. As usual, you'll find drinking water for free. Europe really can learn this from New Zealand. We spent the afternoon and evening just marveling at this glorious lake with its turquoise waters. Set against the jarring, arid landscape of the Mackenzie Basin, it felt surreal. For dinner, we were off to Ramen Tekapo, which has both Chinese food and Thai food. There was a separate vegan menu, which always helps. The stir-fried veggies and spring rolls were really good too. The dumplings were on point, and fried rice has become my comfort food, and it was really good, as expected. This was a massive meal, but after a day of travel, it really hit the spot. Next day, we were off to the magnificent Aoraki, which was later called Mount Cook. We booked an amazing shuttle service run by Taro. It's called Lake Tekapo Shuttle, and we would highly recommend it. This drive was probably my favorite of all the scenic drives. There's the magical, almost alien blue color of Lake Pukaki. It was surreal and a real contrast to the rest of the barren Mackenzie Basin. The best time to see this insane color is on a clear day on your way back. And towards the end of the drive, as you approach Aoraki, there are plenty of places to stop for a photo or just admire the view. And you are surrounded by the majestic mountains. We did a short hike to the Tasman Lake and the Tasman Glacier, but it was the end of the summer, so there wasn't a lot of snow left. For lunch, we went to the cafe at the Hermitage Hotel. They had a couple of vegan pies, and the vegan mince and cheese pie might be one of the best vegan pies I've ever had. My mom also found a vegan muffin, and it was epic. It was like banana bread with generous chunks of chocolate and a biscuity top. We loved it. We didn't do the complete Hooker Valley Trail because it was really searingly hot that day, and the barren terrain provides almost no shade, and it was a super clear day. On the way back, we made a stop at the Lavender farm. And they had ice cream with plenty of vegan options. We got the mixed berry one, and Vidhi reckons that it's the best fruit-based ice cream she's ever had. I loved it too, and ice cream is my favorite dessert. Other desserts can often feel very heavy, but ice cream is just so easy and so good. Our dairy-free friends from Sweden told us that the mango one was really good too. For dinner, we were craving some Indian food, so we went to the Indian restaurant. The jeera rice was nice, the dal was okay, and so were the rotis. The veg korma was the best thing here, and the veg jalfrezi, The less said the better. It was really bad. It was just veggies and ketchup. And when we asked why it was so ketchupy, the waiter and chef said that because jalfrezi always has ketchup. But this is just not true. The meal was just okay and very expensive too. And the next morning, we took the intercity bus to Christchurch. Vidhi made us an awesome brunch, all made with groceries from the Foursquare in the town centre. As we've said, the fruits and veggies are delicious and you can find a range of dairy and meat alternatives.
So, if you're planning a trip to Queenstown, it's time to get really excited.